Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 516 South Columbia Street here in Newburgh, located at the front of the house. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. So we are just to the left of the front doorway from that orientation, and about a foot out from the patio. Got a 3-inch ABS clean out here as our point of access. Insert the camera here and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Just put a bunch of water down line here. We'll introduce some more here in just a moment. Off we go. And at the end, once the line's fully drained off, we'll run backwards until we get underneath the patio. So this Y connection right here looks like a test Y. Yep, there you go. Anytime you have a test Y, immediately after that you're going to have a transition. In this case, transitioning here to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. This is a superbly clean sewer line. Very nice looking. Most notably, no grease buildup to speak of in this thing. That tine we just went under there is a secondary clean out. By the time you reach that point, you have usually crossed into city territory or city responsibility. In Newburgh around here, I believe it's at the right of way where the city takes over responsibility for the line. Anyway, back to the cleanliness of the line. Extremely clean sewer, and you want to keep the line this way. It makes your line much more forgiving. Like right now, we're starting to get into a little bit of grease buildup, a little bit of tan brownish stuff you see kind of on either side of the water line there. Very minor example of it, but you can see what I'm scraping loose here is not just grease. There's paper products in it too. So the problem with grease buildup, it makes your line sticky, and with low flow toilets these days especially, it's very uncommon that when you flush your toilet, the solids go from point A to point B in one shot. It's very common that debris will stop up partway down line and then require the draining of sinks and showers and other toilet flushes to help convey things along. That's pretty normal. So you don't want your solids stopping up in a bunch of grease buildup. That's where they start sticking to the flow line and building up and things of that nature. So. And when your kids do decide to flush 12 balls of toilet paper down the line, it makes the line much more likely to allow that stuff to break loose on its own rather than turn into a full-on backup scenario. So wipe your pans out. If they've got grease and oil on them, either wipe them out after they've cooled down or scrape it off into a garbage can after it's cooled, or when it's still hot and liquid, pour it into a glass jar or metal can, something that won't melt. If you stick to that, the real quantity level stuff, it's a thin little coating of PAM spray on your pans. That's not a big deal. That will mitigate the vast majority of everything going down the line. And we are at the main here right now. We're just putting a big last gush of water down the pipe here. We're going to go locate the camera head, and then we'll pull back here in just a second and take another look at everything. So far, a very nice looking line. Alright, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on South Columbia Street. And the line makes its way out to the street through the front yard area. The line kind of does a zig and a zag. It jaunts towards the left side property line. Right along the edge of the grass on the left side edge of the yard is where the line straightens out and starts shooting out to the road. And just before you get to the sidewalk, going back to the little clean out, the secondary clean out I was talking about a moment ago, you'll see a green little valve cover. Same kind of thing, your sprinkler valve sitting underneath. Right between the grass and the sidewalk. That sits directly over top the sewer line. So between the first clean out, the second one, you can eyeball pretty much the exact route the line takes. Pretty straight moving line overall. Generally speaking, from about that clean out back in is what the homeowner is actually responsible for. And those things can change. The city can sometimes decide we're not going to take responsibility anymore, but up till now, that is still the case. Anyway, and that test wire right there, if you're not familiar with what those are, just like a clean out. So they put a test bladder in when the line is first installed and pressure test the line. And once that's passed off, they cap it off, and that is that. It's just a diagnostic tool used essentially. Everything from the clean out access to the main lateral connection here is in great condition, super clean. We're now heading backwards toward the home. And right here is where we cross through the foundation wall. We just picked up our first drain tie-in there. So we're now back inside the house. And everything from this point on is all crawl space. This is all stuff that's exposed in the crawl space. The home inspector takes a look down there for leaks. I focus on everything you can't see without a camera. Superb looking sewer line there. Structurally in great shape. Lines sloped beautifully. There's no settling areas, and to boot, extraordinarily clean. And going back to what I was telling you on the video here a moment ago about grease buildup. Once you've got enough oil and grease on your pans, if you turn that pan sideways, this is while the grease or oil is still hot and in a liquid state. If there's enough on the pans that it runs off the pan in beads or worse, it's at that point you really want to start doing something about it. Little light duty bits and pieces here and there is not a huge deal. Hot water and soap handles that. Anyhow, great looking line. It is functioning properly at this time.